Governor Andy Beshear delivered his fifth State of the Commonwealth address speech this week. Beshear pointed to record job creation, investments in healthcare, expanding the Mountain Parkway, and more rural broadband access as examples of the major successes that are setting the Commonwealth apart from the rest. In his speech, he argued that Kentucky would meet its full potential by expanding universal pre-K, pointing to Amendment 2's defeat in November as a reason to expand public education.
That's what you call a mandate to prioritize public education. So let's stop with the attempts to defund. Let's stop the voucher nonsense.
It's perfectly understandable and appropriate that the governor takes a victory dance on Amendment 2. I am a little bit, I guess, puzzled by the continued assertions that we are somehow defunding education.
Speaker David Osborne says there will be a conversation this year about responding to the state's low test scores, but universal pre-K is not a proposal that has much support across both chambers. Senator Bledsoe, I'll go ahead and start with you here. Education was just one part of the speech, and it appears to be the part where there is the most division. But what are some other parts of that speech that stick out to you?
I think one of the most important things he talked about was the long litany of small, medium, and large businesses that are coming to the state over the last just 2 or 3 years. When you look at record investment for education, tax modernization for our state, economic incentives that we've put in, not to mention putting Kentucky's pension on a good path, the Kentucky General Assembly has given the governor all the tools he needs to go out and be a great cheerleader, ambassador, to recruit people to state and to be a great place to live, work, and do business. I think that's something we can celebrate.
Senator Thomas, you were there as well. What were some things that stood out to you?
Well, Bodie, I'm going to say this. I've heard over the last week how the Republicans set the table for Governor Beshear to do what he did. And I just recall that when the legislature first became Republican controlled back in 2017, and they implemented changes in right to work and prevailing wage, and we did all these great things to move Kentucky toward a more business-friendly state. We had a different governor in charge then, a Republican governor. And what did he do with all that? A very defunct and very highly criticized one business effort in northeastern Kentucky that just went flat and failed. So what Governor Beshear has done has been nothing short of just amazing. And he's right, we do have a new Kentucky home here. I mean, business development, what's the number now? Like $45 billion new dollars. New job creation, what's that number? About 60,000 new jobs. I mean, what do you say? Kentucky's now what, number 2 or number 3 per capita in the nation? I mean, we are really just knocking the ball out of the park. And I tell you, I've got friends all over the country who call me up now and say, who's your governor? Your governor's doing amazing things. I hear about him on the national news. I mean, Governor Beshear has literally put Kentucky on the map.
We got about 2 minutes here. You want to respond to that, Senator Bledsoe?
I'll just respond by saying he has put us on the map in many, many ways and been a great ambassador and great cheerleader. And like I said, I think he's done a great job doing so. The one thing that you mentioned, us being in the top 2 or 3, we're also in the bottom of workforce participation. Only Mississippi has more workforce participation less than we do. So while we have taken a long time to right the ship, we still have all these new jobs and opportunities, and I hope we have a workforce who can actually come and do them. That's one piece of this ship that is not right yet. And it takes a long time, as you know, in government to move the needle and to go from 6% to back when Governor Fletcher or Governor Bevin was here to where we are today. It is not the same Kentucky that it was, and the tools that the governor has have greatly improved over the last 4 or 5 years, and I give him great credit for doing what he's done with them.
Well, Amanda, I hear you, but I would say that some of the causes that you've talked about, are still inherent within, our Kentucky way of life. I mean, I think we still have too high of an addiction rate. I think we have too many children, Amanda, still in social services and in foster homes and foster care. I think we have too many children still, Amanda, who are not in a position because of their home life to succeed in schools. You may not be aware of this, but I was just in an education committee yesterday, and I heard about all the ills in our school. And I pointed out, I said, because we have a culture here in Kentucky of not wanting to focus on schools, not folks that have families who believe in education. Children in poverty, children who are homeless and hungry. Is that the school's fault, or is that really a fault of just our society in general? And she pointed out is it would take a superhuman effort. This is what she used, a superhuman effort for schools to overcome that. So we still have problems in Kentucky that we need to solve that have nothing to do with our schools or our workforce participation rate, other than we've got to create better homes, which you're doing with affordable housing.
Senator
reduce
Thomas,
poverty.
we're starting to run out of time a little bit,
Okay.
so I want to give Senator Bledsoe a quick chance to respond
Sure,
before we
please.
move on.
My only response is the governor wants to take credit for all of it. He takes credit for all the bad too, and all the work that we still have to do, and we still have some work to do.
All right.